Hello everyone, can you guys please confirm if you're able to hear me clear and loud? Saturday evening, रात के 9:30 बजे 9:30 p.m. in the night. If you guys are able to hear me, can you guys please confirm? My computer screen is in the left, so I'll be looking into the left to see if you guys are available. Sorry for the late. I'll talk about what happened. No, there's a class. Thank you. Thank you, Subran. Very nice. Cool. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. I was expecting ki it's Saturday evening. There will be less people around, but thanks for turning up. You are coming on the Saturday night. I think it's a testimony on itself that how sincere you are, right? So just pat your back for it. I got late because my team told that, sir, we have been working so hard. It's Saturday. Tomorrow is off. So why don't we go for a cricket match? So I went to play cricket. So I was playing cricket for the last 2.5 hours. Got little late, so that's how I requested the team that please put it for the 9:30, and that's how I'm late for half an hour. But I'll make sure that the energy is not going down, and we make sure that we make the best out of it. Okay, so let's quickly get started in today's session. Today's session, I'm going to talk about something called as arrays. Just give me 1 second. My computer screen is on the left. I'll be looking into the left to see if you guys are available. 1 sec. Sorry for the late. Sorry for that. Are you guys able to hear me now? Are you guys able to hear me now? Am I audible? Perfectly. Very nice. Cool. So I'll repeat again. So in the today's session, we are going to talk about a data structure called as arrays. Okay, boss? But before we go and talk about the array data structure, let's try to understand that in this field of data structures and algorithm, what are the topics that we need to learn and in what sequence, so that what we learn today fit into that entire game. So if I go and talk about the entire data structure, it could be divided into the two halves, sir. One of the half is called as a linear data structures, and the another half is called as a non-linear data structures. Linear data structure is something in which you go and store data in one dimension, single dimension. Examples of the linear data structures will be, for example, you will have something called as arrays, which we go and start today. After arrays, we go and talk about a data structure called as a linked list. Thereafter, we go and talk a data structure called as a stack, and then we go and talk about a data structure called as a queue. These are the examples of linear data structures. Once we are done with this linear data structures, typically we'll move to the more advanced data structures called as non-linear. For example, you will have something called as data structure called as a map. You will have the data structure called as tree. You will have the data structure called as PQ, priority queues. You will have the data structure called as a graph. So these are the more abstract and more advanced data structures. So our whole, we will first go and cover all these data structures, and then we'll go and follow these non-linear data structures. And once we are done to this, in this process, we also go and talk about the different algorithms. For example, divide and conquer algorithm, greedy algorithm. For example, graph algorithms, dynamic programming, right? Different types of complex algorithms comes into the action. But as we go and make progress, tomorrow we go and see all these data structures going ahead. Array is one of the most basic and one of the most core concept, especially for the people of like a full stack developer, right? For example, for a web developer like you people, I think one of the most important data structure or data structure for which the maximum number of questions could be asked in the interview will be from the arrays itself. So the topic that I'm going to talk about in the today's session and the next one and the next few sessions is extremely important from the perspective of a web developers. Typically a front-end engineer going in the interview, what kind of questions they are asking? They ask arrays, because you use array data structure a lot when you're doing a web development. Yes, so all this video which you are attending live, take the fun of the live session, and then again these live session will be edited a little and will put into the recorded playlist. So you get a benefit of both the live as well as the recorded sessions. Live because here you can ask question, I'm seeing your comments and I can also answer your question. So attending live is always beneficial. Fair enough? Cool. Now let's try to move on the array data structure. What is array? So typically, let's say that I have to, as a user, let's say that I have to go and give marks to 100 students. I have to go and give marks to the 100 students and I have to go and store it. One of the very trivial way of doing it is, what we can do, I can go and define 100 variables. I'll go and say that let S1 equals to 30 marks, let S2 equals to 32 marks, let S3 equals to 99 marks, like this. I can go and do it for till the 100. So one of the approach of storing when we have to go and store the multiple values is that you go and define that many number of variables that you want to go and store. But do you think, is this a right approach? Right now, I have to go and store somewhere like 100 values. Let's say that in the future, I have to go and store 1000 values. Again, I'll have to go and keep on defining 1000 more variables. Do you think it is the right approach? First of all, it's boring. As a human, if we have to go and do this, it's utterly boring. And secondly, it's also very slow. This is not the right approach. So when we were growing, when we were solving certain problems, we needed some way to store multiple data. We needed some way to go and store the multiple data. And that's where a new data structure came into the action, which is called as the arrays. So array is a kind of a data structure which is used to go and store multiple values. Array is a data structure which is used to go and store the multiple values. For example, in JavaScript, if I have to go and store the numbers, I can go and say that nums equals to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 9. So I go and say that this is called as the array of integers. This is how you go and define an array in the world of JavaScript. The point to note here is that this and this is called as an array. Let's quickly go to our code and try to read it from there. Okay, let's try to go and let me go and open my VS Code. And let me go and create a new file, right? So inside this, today is an array. So I'll go and define a folder. And let me go and call this folder not inside this, maybe outside. And let me call this folder as the arrays, learning arrays. Right, and inside that, let me go and create a file called as new file, and let me go and call it as a.js. Fair? इसको थोड़ा कम कर देते हैं, and let me open my scribble. Cool. So the very first thing that I need to do is how I define an array. In order to go and define the array, let me go and remove all this. Okay. So to define an array, how do we do it? Let me go and call it let arr equals to. You start with the square brackets and you go and write 3, 5, 6, 8, 1. This is how you go and define a array in the field of JavaScript, right? As you can see here, it starts with the square bracket and it's in with the square bracket. This is the example of the array. Fair enough. That's the number 1 point. I hope you are able to see the screen, sir. Font आप लोगों को, are you able to see the font? Is it clear to you people? Question will talk about the taking the inputs, right? When we reach to that stage where we need to take the input to run anything, that should be all fine. Fair? So now, in the case of the arrays, right? Typically, whenever you have an array, normally array has some conventions, right? What that means is that if I go and copy this code, let me go and copy this code and paste it here. Normally, when you go and define this array, array elements are always addressed with the help of certain index. So the index of the array, they always start with a value called as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these elements, 3, 5, 6, they all are said that they're having certain index. So the first element in an array is always at the 0th index. The second element is always at the first index. And like this, the last element is always at the size of the array minus 1th index. This is how array in JavaScript and almost all the programming language, they look the same. The first is at the 0th index, the second is at the first index, the last element is always at the size minus 1th index. Fair enough. Am I clear till this point? This is all cool. Now, arrays are known that if I have to go and get the numbers, they should be based on syntax. What that means that if say that I have a array called as 3, 5, 1, 9, 6. If I go and do console.log array 0, what it will do? It will go and print the element which is at the 0th index. So it will go and print me the value called as the 3. Similarly, if I have to go and fetch the element console.log array 2, then it will go and get me the element which is the second index, which the value is equals to 1. So whenever you have to go and retrieve any element in an array, it will always go and retrieve the value as 3 and 1. Let's try to see that with the help of the code itself. So if I go and put here console.log and I go and say that array 3, right? And if I go in here, run that node a dot, so cd cd, I'm inside this learning arrays. Yeah, let me go into node a.js. So when I go and run this, if you see that the third index value, it is printing as 7. It is at index 0. It is at the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Third index value is 7. So I'm getting the value as 7 as printed. That's perfectly fine. Now a question for you people, because you guys would have learned other programming language. If I go and write 6 and I run this, what should happen? Can you guys help me understand? If I go and run this now, will it work? What will happen? What will happen here? So if I go and run this, the value comes as undefined. Now, if it was another programming language, for example, if it was another programming language like C++ or Java, it would have thrown a lot of exception. These programming languages would have done a lot of drama. JavaScript is a peaceful language, boss. If something is there, it will return the result. Otherwise, it will not make noise. It will simply go and say that undefined, but it will not create drama of printing the 10 lines of stack trace and throwing error. Time and again, I'll give you the examples and you'll realize that why JavaScript is such a peaceful language. JavaScript is such a peaceful language. Fair enough? Cool. So now I'm clear. Great. Now, the next operation that I can do is that in this given array, if I go and change the value at the second index and let me set this value as 11. When I go and run this, typically what will happen is, this is the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I'm trying to say is that at the second index, go and add the value 11. Second index, the value is 6. I want to go and replace it the value 11. So when I go and execute this, and after that, if I want to go and print array console.log array, and before this, if I go and print you will see that before that at the second index the value was 6, so it was printing 6. And when I go and do this, it has been able to replace the value. Very basic thing that we have been learning. So this is how you can go, and when you go on this, this is how you can assign the values, assign the value at a index. Fair enough? Cool. The next thing that let's try to quickly see about the array is if I have to go into the insert an element. Insert an element in the array, right? So insert an element in the array, what we need to do is this array dot push and whatever the value that I want to do, say for example 16, and let me go and then do the console.log. So if I go and run this again, you see initially the value was this 3, 5, 11, 7, 8, 1, and after I have inserted the value, this has become equals to 3, 5, 11, 7, 8, 1 and 16. So when you go and insert array.push, it inserts at the end. When you go and do this array.push, it insert the value at the end of the array. एक और example देख लेते हैं. I want to go and insert at the beginning. If I have to go and insert in the beginning, then I have another command. What is the another command? That is array.unshift. And here if I go and put say like 99, and again if I go and do this console.log array, and I do go and run this, you will see that now 99 has, when I go and do array.unshift, it have added 99 at the beginning itself. Now, if I want to go and remove the element from the array, if I want to remove the element, for removing the element, you have a method called as array.pop. And then again, let's try to run this console.log array. If I go and run this, you will see that in the last, there was an element 16. When I did the pop, it removed the last element. So this goes and removes the last element. If I want to go and remove the first element, then I have a method called as array.shift. Array.shift. When I go and do this, this will go and remove the first element. If you can see, 99 got removed. So this is the basic gyan I wanted you people to have in the array before we start solving the problem. Let's do a quick summary of what we have done. Let's do a quick summary of what we have done here, sir. So what we have done so far, we know that, let's quickly do the quick summary of all the things so that we can start solving the problems. We know that in the world of JavaScript, if we have to go and define a array, it will be defined like this. Let array equals to 1, 5, 9, 6. That's how it is defined. Array is always index based 0, 1, 2, 3, right? Using index, we can retrieve the data. For example, if I go and say that array 2, it means that I'm giving the value what? 9. It will get me the value 9. Using index, I can set the data. Set the data. So if I go and do this array index 3 equals to 11, it means that my array, when I go and do this, will get changed to 1, 5, 9, and at the third index, the value come at 11. Fair? Am I clear to this point? And after that, we have talked about few points. If I have to do the insertion, in that case, I have two methods. One of the method is called as push. So if I go and do that array.push and the value is 99, this will be added, this will push the data in the end. And the another method is unshift. So array.unshift. If I go and add the value called as, say for example 33, it will go and add the data at the start. And for the deletion, we have again two methods. One of the method is called as pop. When you go and apply array.pop, it will remove from end. And if I have to remove from the start, I will have to go and make use of a method called as shift. Array.shift. This will remove from start. Am I clear till this point? These were the basics about the JavaScript arrays, which we need to know before we start solving the problem. Is everyone in the class clear till this point? Devior, Sajano, ladies and gentlemen, is everyone clear till this point? Tell me. Fair enough? Can I move on? Now, let's try to see that how JavaScript, now another important point here is that how JavaScript arrays are different and special than other program. For example, there's a programming language called C++ or Java. There also they have something called as array. But the array in JavaScript is special. It has got some special powers, and you should know as a JavaScript developers. What is that? First of all, when you go and define an array like this, let array equals to array. In the JavaScript array, you can have data of multiple types in the same array. For example, you can keep a value integer also. You can keep a Boolean value also. You can keep a string also in the same array, and JavaScript will not complain. In the world of the JavaScript, you can go and define array with multiple data types. And JavaScript will not complain. JavaScript is very flexible. If you try to do the same thing in the world of Java, they will throw you out. They will not let you do things. That's number one. Number two is JavaScript in other programming language. Say for example, Java. If I'm learning about Java, here if I go and define an array, array is always of fixed size. Array is always of fixed size. But now in the case of JavaScript, arrays are of dynamic size, little more powerful. In the world of JavaScript, the arrays are of dynamic size. You can go and keep on adding as many elements you want. But in the case of Java, you have to go and define in the beginning itself. You cannot go and have the different size. That's the second difference of the arrays in JavaScript compared to other programming language. Third, the third difference. Let's say that I go and define an array like this. Let array equals to 3, 4, 5, 9, and its indexes are 0, 1, 2, 3. Now, if I go and write something like this array, and I go and write fifth index equals to 11, what should happen here? What will happen here, guys? If I go and write array 5 equals to 11, what will happen? Can you guys help me? What should be happening here? Should it give me error? Will it work? What will happen? If it was other programming language, for example, like Java, it would have started shouting. Java would have started creating drama. Bro, what is this? I don't like. It will start throwing index out of bound exception. It would start throwing index out of bound exception. But the same thing if I go and do in the case of JavaScript. Let me go and see that what happens. Right? So what I'll do now is that I'll go and comment out all these lines that I have already written. And let's give it a try. So I have defined, right? So I have defined, sir, let array equals to, and I go and write 6, 7, 1, something of this sort. And in this case, I go and say that array index 4 or 5 is equals to 23. Now this, you see here, this has an index 0, this has an index 1, this has an index 2. I am trying to insert at the index 5. If I go and run this, right? If I go and try to run this, Nothing has error, no error has happened. And if I now do the console.log to see what happened to this array, those console.log, and I go and pass this array, and let's try to go and run this node.js, I see this has happened. As soon as I do it, as I told you, array is a Santipriya language. It's a very peaceful language. So when I go and do this array.5, for the index 0, 1, 2, it's fine. At the third index and the fourth index, it has added the empty items. And it has been very safely put 23 at the fifth index. JavaScript being a peaceful language, it tries to do what you want. JavaScript is like a Google map. Just like whenever you take a long route, Google Map never complains. It just tries to realign to a new path. Same way, JavaScript never complains. It says that, okay, boss, you're saying 5, I agree 5. For the remaining items, I'll go and put the empty item. So this is how, again, JavaScript is different from the other programming language in terms of support for the arrays. Again, all these points that I'm telling you are the interviewer's favorite, boss. They will not ask you directly what is array. They will ask you that array in JavaScript, how it is different from other programming language. Fair enough? Am I clear till this point? Will you be able to explain? This is the third difference of JavaScript arrays compared to other programming language. Let's move on. Let's move to the next point. What are the more differences of JavaScript? Now, this is the most important interview favorite and also for your concept. Normally, if I go and talk about arrays in general, arrays are said to be that, array elements are stored in contiguous memory location. Arrays are generally, it's a general notion about the arrays that they are stored in the continuous memory location. If you have learned some programming language like C or any other programming language like Java, C++, your instructor, your teacher, your mentor, your book would be telling you that, bhaiya, if it is array, all elements will be stored in the continuous memory location. What it means, let's say that if it is an array like this, 3, 5, 9, and 11, all these elements, let's say this is a memory space, and let's say these are the locations, 1, 2, 1, 3, this is one location, another is 1, 2, 1, 4, this is another location, 1, 2, 1, 5, another location, 1, 2, 1, 6, another location. So all these elements, 3 will be stored here, 5 is stored here, 9 is stored here, 11. So all of these are located one after the in a contiguous location. It's true for all the programming languages. But in the case of JavaScript, above is not true. And this is a very tricky question which interviewer can ask you. They will tell you, bro, in the world of JavaScript, does the elements of the arrays are stored in the contiguous memory location? And normally this is the fact for almost all the programming language, you'll end up saying yes. But the answer is not true. In the array, it depends. So in the array, if you go and define the array like this, in the array world, if you go and define the array like this, array equals to 1, 3, 5, 9. If an array is defined like this, where all the elements are of same type, and also there is no gap, no gap between elements. If that is the case, if the elements are of the same time and there is no gap between the elements, in that case, elements will be stored in the contiguous location, just like Java or C++. If all the elements are of the same type, for example, in this case, all the elements are of the same type, which is integer, Elements will be stored in the contiguous location in Java or like C++. But on the other hand, if I have an array which is either like this 1, 3, and then there is an empty, and there are 7, and then there is another empty, and there's 9. If you see, there are gaps, right? These are the gaps. Either array is of this type or array is of, for example, it has a number also, it has a boolean also, it has a string also. If the array is of this type of the nature, right? If the array is of this type, in this case, elements are not stored together. Elements are not stored together. Fair enough. Am I clear? Are you guys clear with this point? Normally, when the elements are stored together, this is better. This is not optimal. So as a JavaScript developer, now JavaScript is flexible, peaceful. It will say that, okay, those, if you want, you go and add all the different data types in the array. But should you do it? You should not do it. It will be a poor practice, very bad practice. If in an array you go and add number also, boolean also, string also, though it is allowed, you should not do it. Everything which is allowed in our real life, we should not end up doing it, right? So we should not do that. So we should always make sure that whenever we go and define an array, it should all have the same data type. Now the question is, the logical question is that, what is the advantage? What is the advantage of creating arrays with same data type? So when you go and store arrays with the same data type, it results into the elements are stored in contiguous locations. And when the elements are stored in the contiguous locations, it has the following advantage. The first advantage that you get, it leads to the fast access, or I also go and call it as a random access. What does that mean? I know that if the elements are stored, for example, 2, 3, 5, 9, these are the 4 elements of the array, and they're stored in the contiguous location. Let's say that this location is 1, 2, 1, 9, this is 1, 2, 2, 0, this is 1, 2, 2, 1, and this is 1, 2, 2, 2. Since all of them are the contiguous location, if I am at this place and I have to go to the last element, I just have to go and add plus 2 into this, which will make me 1, 2, 2, 1, and I will come here. So when the elements are stored in the contiguous location, going or jumping to another location is very fast because you just have to go and add a number. So this is very fast access. That's number one. The second advantage of that is that if it is contiguous location, you can easily cache in the L1 cache. What is the meaning of the L1 cache? Let's try to talk about. So normally what happens, any code that you execute inside a computer, where is the execution happening? The execution is happening inside the RAM, random access memory. The more the RAM, the better it is, right? Normally when you go and buy a phone, you say that RAM kitna hai. When you go and buy a laptop, you say that how much is the RAM, because if the RAM is less, it will be slower, right? So all the execution, all the code execution happens inside the RAM. Inside the RAM itself, there are multiple layers, L1 cache, then there's L2 cache, and there's L3. There are different levels of the cache. What it means that if something is in the L1 cache, it was super fast. Then it is in L2 cache, it is comparatively slow, and this is slower. So if something is in the contiguous location, or something is in a contiguous location, then it can get stored inside the L1 cache. So what happens if the array elements are stored in the contiguous location? It can be stored in the L1 cache, which makes things faster, right? So if the array is in a contiguous location, it can get stored in the L1 cache, and it is very fast then in that case. So that's the advantage. If you want to achieve, you have to make sure that you are storing data, homogeneous data, same type of data in the arrays. Am I clear, people? Does it make sense? So with this, one point that I want you people to take it from here is that when you are dealing with the arrays, in the case of JavaScript, make sure that you are using it as store only one type of data. Make it a rule. Thou JavaScript allows you, don't never try to use multiple types of data. That's number one. And when you do it, it will provide you the best or the fastest way of read and write. That's number one. And number two, random access. And why these two? Because of the two things. Because elements are stored in a contiguous location. And because they're stored in the contiguous location, they can go inside the L1 cache, which makes things fastest, which makes all the operations fastest. Everyone is clear till this point? Are you guys clear? What is array? Wow, the array in JavaScript is different from the arrays in other programming language. What sets it apart from other programming language? And how arrays, if you use it properly, could be a very fast data structure. Read and write, I told. Cool? Now, let's get started and start solving the problem. Let's start solving the problem in this. Problem number one. So let's talk about the first problem, okay? And the first problem says that, let's try to solve few problems on the array. Let me put it here. Given an array, find the index of the largest element. This is the question which is there on our screen. What is the question that it is saying? You have been given an array. Let's say that you have been given an array like this. 3, 5, 1, 9, 8, 2. And you are told that, my dear friend, can you tell me what is the index of the largest element here? See, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now in this question, let's start saying, till this, I start from here. This is 3. Then I come here, 5 is the largest. So this should be 1. Then again jump, no, 1 is the largest. Then I again jump, I see 9 is the largest. So this has become the index with the largest value. Then I come here, then I come here. So out of all this, 9 is the largest element. So the value should be, I should go and return 3. Let's take another use case. I have another array. 3, 5, 9, 1, 8, 9, and 2. And it has the indexes, for example, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if in this case, if you see there are two numbers which are larger, 9 is again here and 9 is again here. When the larger element appears multiple times, I have to go and return the first index. So the answer of that should be like 2. So this is the question. Am I clear with the question, people? Please quickly write the code for it while I'm writing the code for the same. I want you people to be ready with the code editor and write the code. So what we need to do, let's quickly go and write the logic. So logic, let's try to understand what we can do. It's a simple question, very simple question, right? Let's say that is 3, 9, 1, 2, 4, 8, 6. What we do is, we start from the very beginning and assume that 3 is the largest. So I go and say that my largest is 3. Then I again jump. I go and see the 9 is more than 3. So the 9 becomes my largest. Then I again jump no. 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 And again. So my largest is the 9. So what I'll have to do? I'll have to go and iterate over it. And for that, I'll have to go and write a for loop. I'll have to go and write a for loop. Let's quickly do this. So I go and open my code. And the code, let me go and comment this. As we make a little progress, we'll start solving the problem on the lead code itself, right? In the beginning, I just want to set the base right, and then we start solving the good problems from the lead code itself. Now I'm going to define the function, right? So let me go and call this function as function, and let me go and find max index array. I'm going to find the index, that value as the 0 itself. That 0 is the index with the maximum value. And then I start comparing with the elements. So I go and say that for I equals to 1, I is less than array.length. Array.length tells me what is the size of the given array. I plus plus. Now what I'm going to do? I go and say that if array I value is more than array index, in that case, I should go and update the value of index. Index is equals to I. And once it is done, then I should go and just simply go and return index. Right, this is the code. Let's copy this code and put that here and see if that works. So let me paste this code here. And let's do a dry run. Let's do a quick dry run of this problem. I think it is very easy problem. Let's say that I go and call this max index and I go and provide an array call as 3, 5, 7, 2, like this. So when I go and run this, if you see here, my array is what? My array is 3, 3, 5, 7, and 2. And the value of the index is 0, 1, 2, and 3. Fair enough. Am I clear till this point, guys? Guys, are you able to hear me? Is my voice clear to you people? Hello, everyone. Are you guys able to hear me? Voice is clear, right? Cool, perfect. Very nice, Pravansh. Very nice, Manish. Now here what I do, I'm running from the loop. So for the first time when the loop is running, the value of I is equals to 1. First time when the loop ran. The value of array I, element at the first index, this value is equals to 5. And array at the index value initially is how much? Index value is set as 0. The value of index is equals to 3. So this holds true. So index value gets updated to I. So index value now is changed to 1. Second time, I value is equals to 2. When the I value is equals to 2, array at the second index, this value will be equals to 7. And array at the index 1, this value will be equals to 5. Now this is 2. So again, index gets updated. So index gets updated to 2. So again, the third time, I value is equal to 3 when it is running. The value of I at the third index is equals to 2. The value of I at the index 2 is equals to 7, does not hold true. So the index does not get added. Now array.length value is how much? Array.length value is equals to 4. Next time the value of I has also become equals to 4. I has to be less than. So this for loop terminates. So when this entire for loop is done, the value of index is how much? 2. So this will go and return the value as 2, which is the right 0, 1, 2, 3. 2 is the index of the largest element. Am I clear, people? Does it make sense? Am I clear, guys? Am I clear, guys? Does it make sense? Shall I move to the next question? Shall we move to the next question? Okay. The next question says that I have to go write the code to determine if the array is sorted already. What is the meaning of a sorted? A sorted array is the one which is in the ascending order. For example, what this means that array that looks something like this: 3, 5, 5, 9, 11. If you see that all the elements are in increasing order or ascending order, so this array will be said that it is sorted. On the other hand, if I have an array that looks something like this: 3, 2, 5, 1, 6, 9, I see it is going down, then it is increasing, then it is going down, then increasing, then increasing. There is no certain order. So I will go and say that, boss, this is unsorted. So the question says that, my dear friend, you have to go and define a function called as is sorted, in which I have to go and pass the logic. I have to go and write the logic so that if the array is sorted, I should go and return true, else I should go and return false. Am I clear, people? Does it make sense? Very nice, Samreen. See, we are learning here DSA. It means that we have to write our own logic. I cannot go and use array.sort method. In our DSA lecture, using the inbuilt function is a crime and we should not do it. Okay, so we have to have our own logic. Now let's say to think what could be the logic. Let's say that if I have an array like this: 3, 5, 9, 11, 13. If I have an array like this and I have to make it sort, no, I have to check if it is sorted or not. Sorting what means? At any two position, if I go and check any two elements, this should be smaller than the right. Left should be always smaller than right. Fair? If the array has to be sorted at any given moment of time, if I go and compare any two elements, the left has to be smaller than the right. What it means is that if I have been given an array called as 3, 5, 9, 11, and 13, right? Like this. If I go and compare all the combinations, first of all, I go and check this, then I go and check 5 and 9, then I go and check 9 and 11, and I go and check 11 and 13. And I find that in none of the place, everywhere left is less than equals to right, then I say that it is sorted. If any moment of time, for example, in this case, here also it is true, here also it is true, here also it is true, so I go and say that it is sorted. On the other hand, if I have something like this: 3, 5, 1, 9, 11, 13. Now, if I go and try to see again, 3 and 5, true. 5 and 11, it is false. As soon as I go and false, I go and say that it is not sorted. Fair enough? Very nice, Pravansh. Let's quickly go and write the code for this. What should be the logic? Let me go and open my code. I go and define another function. I go and call it as function is sorted array. Okay. And then I go and do what? I go and say that for I equals to 0, I is less than array.length minus 1, I plus plus. And I go and compare if array of I is greater than array of I plus 1. If that is the case, it can never be sorted. So I go and return in that case false. And after this for loop, if it never returns false, it means that it is sorted. So I go and return true. Let's copy this code and do a quick dry run, boss. Let's take an array like this. I go and call an array is sorted, and I have example 3, 5, 9, 11. Let's take a positive case first of all. So it means that my array is equals to 3, 5, 9, 11 and start from 0, 1, 2, 3. These are the indexes. Now I start the loop. The first value of the loop will be I is equals to 0. When I is equals to 0, I go and do the array at the 0th position, which is equals to 3. This is array at 1 plus 1, which is equals to 5. Is 3 greater than 5? No. So I again run the for loop the second time. I value is equals to 1. When I value is equals to 1, array at the ith position, 1th position is what? 5. Array at 2th position is 9. 5 is greater than 9. No, does not hold true. So it doesn't go inside the if block. Again, the next for loop. Third time, the value of I is equals to 2. Now, array at the second index. Second index is what? 9. At the I plus the third index is equals to 11. 9 is greater than 11. No, does not hold true. So again, it goes. So now the value of I is equals to 3. Value of I should be less than equals to 3. So it's not hold true. So now I'm left with 2. So this returns true, boss. So this is how its sorted code works. This dry run which I am doing, people, make it a part of your practice. Every problem that you do, you should definitely do a dry run. It will help 2 things. 1, help you understand the logic better. Number 2, it will help you avoid the mistakes. Am I clear, people? Does it make sense? All well? All clear till this point? Can I move on? We can consider the descending also, but the natural sorted order is the ascending. If it is ascending, then we will clearly mention that it is sorted in a descending order, Manish. Let's do one more question before we stop today. The next question says, that you have to go and reverse an array. You have to go and reverse an array. What is that? It says that if the array is looking something like this, 3, 2, 1, 5, 9, you have to go and convert this array into like this 9, 5, 1, 2, 3. It means that the element which was at the 0th index, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the element 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, first element became the last, and the last element became the first. This is the meaning of reverse. Now, how do we go and solve the problem? The very basic approach of solving this problem is that, let's say that I have I, 3, 5, 6, 9. The very basic approach of solving this problem is that what you go and do is that you go and take another array, another empty array like this. And you start from the last element here. And you start here from the first element here. You take the element, this value 9, put it here, and then you move in this direction. Then you put, and you move this in this direction. You put 6, then you again move, and then you again move. You put 5, then you again move. You put 3, then you again move, and then you go and put 1. So in this case, you use extra array to solve this problem. This is a very basic way of solving the problem. Let's try to see the code, how we can do it. If I go and open my code, let me go and call it as function reverse, and I have array. What I'm going to do, I'm going to define another array. Let new reverse array equals to this. And then what I'm going to do is I have what I do normally is that I have 2 variables. So I have let I equals to 0 and have another variable called as let j is equals to array dot length minus 1. And then what I'm going to do is that while I is less than array dot length. What do I go and write? I go and say that reverse j is equals to array I. sorry, this I should go and put it as array dot length minus 1, and j value I should go and put it as 0. So I can say that array reverse 0 should be equals to array I, and after that I should go and increment the value of j, and I could decrement the value of I. Let me quickly copy this code and explain you here what happened. Let's do a dry run. Okay, so I go and call this function reverse, and I go and pass 5, 9, 6, 3. Let's assume that. So what happened, because of which array value is equals to 5, 9, 6, 3. Then I go and define this reverse. So this reverse is an empty array right now. Okay. I value is equals to what? Array dot length minus 1. So I value is equals to, length is 4. So I value is equals to 3. And j value is equals to 0. It means that I right now is pointing to this, and j right now is pointing to this 0, 1, 2, 3. So what I do, while I is less than array dot length, I value is initially 0, array dot length value is equals to, so till the time I value is less than 0, I go inside this. I go to reverse 0, you go and put the array last element. So last element of is 3, so I go and put 3 here. And after this, I increment the j value. So j value is now pointing to 1, and I value is now pointing to 6. And I value got incremented. So next time what happens? The next time the value of I has become equals to 1. Sorry, the I value has become equals to, it was initially 3. This sentence has to be changed actually, this value, this condition should be changed. It should be written something, it should be value, I value should be equal to greater than equals to 0. That should be the condition. I should go and change in the code also. And that's the beauty of the dry run. When you go and dry run, you understand these value errors that you would have done. I value should be greater than equals to 0. Right. So initially the value of I was 3. The next time the value of I will be equals to 2. So I value will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So what do? You go and put the value 6 here. Next time again when you go, the value of I becomes equals to 1. So this value is equals to 9. You go and put the value 9 here. Next time when you go and run, the value of I becomes 0. You go and put the value. Next time the value of I becomes equals to minus 1. Does not holds 2. So finally when you come out, the reverse is 3, 6, 9, 5, which is your reversed. Fair enough. So can you guys tell me what will be the time complexity of this code? What will be the time complexity of this code, guys? What will be the time complexity of this code? The time complexity of this code will be equals to order of n. This is all fine. But while I'm doing this, I'm needing some extra space. So this also has extra space, and that space is again of order of n. So it might be okay for few companies, when you go and apply for the companies like FANG, they will say that, bro, what is this extra space? It's not allowed. So you have to go and find a more optimized way of solving this problem. So to solve this more optimized way, there is a concept called as a two-pointer approach. This is one of the very strong approach or a pattern. This is a very strong pattern of the questions that we're going to solve with the help of the two-pointer approach. Very nice summary. So we will stop here typically, right? And we'll continue our next session where we go and deep dive this two-pointer approach. This is a very strong pattern, and we'll try to solve the multiple problems, easy, medium, hard, super hard problems on this approach, and we go and try to master it. So we'll stop this session today. It's 10:30. I don't want you guys to delay more. It's a weekend. I'll see you guys next week. All these sessions which is happening live will also be edited well, and they will be put in the playlist so that you have all the things in the sequence. Just keep on learning like this, keep on coming, and I'll make sure that these sessions will keep on happening. The best content of the earth, I'll make sure that that happens. Okay? Thank you everyone for all the love, for all the support, for joining it. I hope it was helpful. If you have yet not joined the WhatsApp community, please do that now, because all the things are done here, but then you have the follow-up questions that I give you, their answers, and all the announcement, it happens in the group. So if you want to solve more practice problems, get the answers to those, communicate with me. Typically the community is the place where you should get join yourself. So the link of that will be in the description of this video. Please go and join the WhatsApp community. Thank you everyone. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next week. Till then, good night. Take care. Okay, let me go and check the code once. Thank you for pointing it out. Let me see if that is the case. Is sorted is not inside the for loop, sir. It is perfectly correct. This code is perfectly correct. This code is perfectly correct, sir. Okay. Thank you everyone. Good night. Take care. I'll see you next. Bye bye.